This video is for baler safety use guidance only. It should not replace a company's risk assessment and safe system of work for operation of the baler. Highlander and Dicom Paal Limited accept no responsibility for any loss or damage caused by the use of the baler or the implementation of this video. General safety. This video provides guidance for the use and safety features of the baler. It is imperative that your company carries out a robust risk assessment and draws up a safe system of work specific to the operation of the baler and the environment in which it is located, since every setup, environment and location is different. Every baler comes with a fully detailed manual and operating instructions, from loading the hopper to closing the gate, starting a cycle and ejecting a bale. The operating instructions can be used as the basis of any safe system of work drawn up by your company, but it is very important that you generate your own safe system of work that is specific to your location. Full training for up to 5 people will be provided upon installation of the baler. Annual refresher training can be provided at the same time as an annual baler service, and you should speak to the baler provider about availability and costs of refresher training provision. Operating environment. The baler should be installed in an area with adequate height and space, where baler operators can be easily segregated from normal work activities, such as forklift truck and pallet truck operations and other potential strike hazards or any other hazards within your specific area of baler use. The baler must be installed on a flat concrete base. The customer must supply a safe and suitable power supply for the baler to be connected to. Highlander or Dicom Paal Limited will supply full details of the power supply required prior to installation of the baler. Ideally, the baler should be kept inside. However, the baler can be kept outside, but the same requirements would apply. It must be kept in an area where the baler operator is not under any undue risk from other factors in the workplace, such as forklift trucks or other vehicles or any other hazards. Safety features of the baler. The baler will come with the following safety features: an oil level indicator, which is attached to the power pack, various prohibition signs, such as do not enter the hopper, do not remove power pack or guards except for servicing, and train personnel only to use the equipment. Other signs include electrical danger, stand clear when a baler is being ejected, do not climb on the sides of the baler, use a ladder when servicing, caution signs for switching off the baler when removing guards, and various other safety signs. The baler is fitted with an emergency stop button. It is the large round red button on the control panel. This button must be pressed if any emergency situation occurs. This button must be checked on a daily basis to ensure it is in good working order. The easiest way to check that the emergency stop button is working correctly is to start the machine and while the baler is running, press the emergency stop button. The machine should stop dead, and the red stop button will illuminate and flash, indicating that the emergency stop button has been pressed. To reset the emergency stop button after a test or after general use, twist the button clockwise, and the button will spring back into its normal operating position. The baler also comes with a safety interlock, which also must be checked on a daily basis. The interlock will ensure the hopper gate is kept closed while the baler is in cycle mode. This is important so that people cannot access the hopper area while the 30-ton pressure ram head comes down to bale the cardboard. Because of the interlock's importance for the safe working of the machine, we strongly recommend that a qualified engineer undertakes the testing of the interlock on a regular basis. However, there is a simple visual test that can be done to show that the interlock is working. There is a green LED indicator light on the bottom half and front of the interlock. This will illuminate when the two halves of the interlock are together and the power is on. When the green LED lights up, this shows that everything is okay. Another safety feature of the baler is the two eject buttons that have to be pressed when a bale is ready to be ejected from the baler chamber. To eject the bale, these two buttons must be pressed at the same time. The location of these buttons forces the operator to stand at the side of the baler. This is designed to prevent the operator from standing in front of the baler when the bale is ejected. If they did stand in front of the baler, there is a good chance that the bale would strike them as it falls out of the baling chamber, causing serious injury and harm to the operator or anyone else within the vicinity. The first eject button is on the side of the panel. The other eject button is on the front of the control panel. For the bale to be ejected safely, both buttons must be pressed at the same time by the operator. However, the operator must make sure that no one is standing in the area around the front of the baler when the bale is ejected. If anyone were in this area, they would be at risk of serious injury or harm if struck by the ejected bale. There are two baler isolators. There's a baler isolator on the main panel, and there should be an isolator on the power supply. Either isolator is adequate for the baler to be depowered, so if maintenance is to be carried out, or the baler is not going to be used for a period of time, either isolator can be used to allow safe access to the baler or prevent unauthorized use of the baler. There is also a key switch to allow the baler to be activated. This allows a system to be put in place to ensure only trained or authorized personnel have keys to switch the baler on or off and then to operate the baler thereafter. The key switch has three settings: 0, which means the baler can't be used; Auto, which is normal for when the material is being compressed and baled; and Eject, which is to be used when the bale is being ejected from the chamber. There is also a bale full light, which indicates when it is time to eject the bale. This eliminates the chance of bales coming out of the machine either too small or too large. Bales that are too small or large can cause safety problems later in the process, when the bales need to be moved or loaded onto collection trucks. There is also a general stop button. This allows the machine to simply be stopped but not isolated, as opposed to what happens when activating the emergency stop button, when power is cut off from the machine altogether. Equipment provided. When the baler is delivered and installed, the following equipment will accompany the installation: the model of baler provided, a free bundle of baling wire, a free bale wire pulling tool, free operator's keys, and a detailed baler manual. Operators should be familiar with all items and their use before baling commences. Intended use. The Dicom brand vertical baler range is designed and manufactured for baling materials such as cardboards, plastics, paper, cloth, or any other material that can be safely baled for recycling. Commercial and industrial outlets for the Dicom PGV baler range include recycling companies, supermarkets, retailers, distribution centres, manufacturing plants, or any other industry or application which requires the safe and efficient baling of certain materials for recycling. Additional health and safety information. Only authorized and trained adults should be allowed to operate any baling equipment. This guidance video is not intended as a substitute for training in the proper use and safety procedures of the equipment. Do not let unauthorized, untrained personnel use the baling equipment at any time. As part of the manufacturing procedure, a CE-based risk assessment has been performed on this machine to determine what level of safety has been required in the control circuitry, fixed and removable guards, and so on. Personal protective equipment. In carrying out any work, inserting the baling wire, removing the wire residue, cleaning or general maintenance, you must always wear suitable personal protective equipment. This may include a minimum of eye or face protection and gloves suitable for handling of steel baling wire or plastic tying rope. Furthermore, because the waste stream of individual end users varies greatly, each one should perform their own risk assessment to determine what level of PPE, operating conditions, lighting levels, etc. may be required. Foreseeable incorrect use. The foreseeable incorrect use of the machine can be a source of risk for the user or third parties, or cause material damage to the machine or other assets. Safety switches must not be shunted out, removed or disabled. Removal or deactivation of other safety devices should not be done. Removal of safety covers must not be done. Using parts of the machine as a climbing aid is prohibited. Loading already compacted or already pressed material, feeding non-compactable materials, for example scrap metals, wood, concrete or rubble, is not permitted and will damage the baler. Before making any electrical connections or carrying out any maintenance or testing, be sure that the mains isolator switch is padlocked in the off position. Residual risk. The machine is built according to the recognized international standards for safety requirements on baling equipment. However, risks to the users or third parties or material damage to the machine or other material assets still exist. These can be as follows. 1. Slipping during maintenance or cleaning work or during normal baler operator processes, as well as in areas that cannot be climbed or entered. Pay attention to cleanliness at accessible positions of the machine. 2. Being struck by the bale while ejecting. Make sure that the area in front of the baler, when the bale is being ejected, is clear of any personnel. Make sure that there is no equipment or apparatus that may cause harm if the bale should move suddenly. 3. Bursting of hydraulic hoses. Presence in the vicinity of hydraulic hoses, especially when the baler is operational, is to be avoided where possible. 4. Automatic movements of all components that are driven hydraulically. Even after the machine is switched off, there may still be pressure in the hydraulic system in individual cases. The expansion forces of the pressed material can lead to a pressure buildup in the hydraulic system. Ensure that there is enough space for movement. Do not hold any part of your body on any object on the transitions between the moving and fixed components. Making a bale. Before commencing to carrying out any work on inserting and threading the baling wire into the machine, you must always wear personal protective equipment that includes eye or face protection and gloves suitable for handling steel baling wire or, where applicable, plastic tying rope. 1. With the bale door open and loading gate in its uppermost position, feed the looped end of the baling wire through the slots in the back of the baler. Pull enough wire through each slot to allow it to lie along the press grooves along the floor of the baler. 2. Locate the wire in the small notch on the base plate and press downwards away from the bottom door as it closes. 3. Place a flat piece of material on the floor of the baler, ideally covering the whole floor section of the baler. A piece of cardboard is often best for this. 4. Close the bottom door and secure using the turnbuckle on the baler side. Note, only secure to hand tight. Do not use the spanner to tighten the mechanism. 5. Feed material into the baling chamber ensuring that it is evenly distributed at both sides of the hopper. Do not load the material on one side of the hopper, as this will make the bale come out uneven and could damage the hydraulic cylinder of the baler. 6. When the bale chamber is full, insert the key into the key switch and turn the key switch to the auto position. 7. Pull down the loading gate. Press the start button. The baler will make one complete down and up cycle. When the platen is at the top after the cycle is complete and the baler has stopped, the feed gate will open automatically. 8. Repeat steps 5 through 7 until the orange full light illuminates. The bale is now made and is ready to be ejected from the machine. The bale tie-off and eject procedure. 1. Before tying off and ejecting the bale, another large piece of flat material must be placed across the top of the bale. This can be a large sheet of cardboard, for example. This sheet will allow the bale to be ejected from the machine safely and ensure small fractions of material do not protrude between the 4 baling wires that will be used to tie off the bale. 2. Turn the selector key switch to eject. 3. Lower the baler feed gate to the closed position and press the start button. The baler platen will stop in the down position. 4. Open the bale door fully using the turnbuckle, and if this is too tight to loosen by hand, use the spanner to loosen the door. When the lower door is open and the lower interlock becomes separated from the higher interlock, the baler feed gate will open automatically. 5. Tie off the bale by going to the rear of the baler and passing the end of the wire through the slots and through the grooves in the base of the platen. Return to the front of the baler. Pass the end of the wire through the loop on the corresponding wire at the base of the bale. Pull it tight and pass through the loop once more. Twist excess wire around the baling wire to make sure it's neat against the bale and does not protrude and risk potential injury. Avoid crossing the wires, as this may cause difficulty in ejecting the bale. 6. Place a pallet at the front of the baler to catch the bale for ease of movement afterwards. 7. Standing at the side of the baler with the controls facing you, make sure all personnel are clear of the front of the baler. Press and hold the eject button and start button together. The platen will go up and eject the bale from the baler. The bale will then fall onto the pallet, which should be at the foot of the baler. 8. The bale is now ready to move on the pallet to a safe storage space. Important! You must now reset the baler. Close the baler door again using the turnbuckle, but remember it should only be closed hand tight. Do not use the spanner to tighten the baler door. Then lower the baler feed gate till it stays closed. Turn the selector switch to auto. Press the start button to cycle and reset the ejector. After this is completed, the bale sequence is ready to be repeated until another bale is made and is ready to be tied off. General maintenance. Only trained and competent persons should carry out any maintenance or cleaning of the baler. Operators of the baler must carry out some basic daily, weekly and monthly checks to ensure the continued safe and efficient operation of the machine. There are 4 daily checks to be carried out. 1. Check the oil level on the sight glass. 2. Check for any obvious oil leaks from the machine. 3. Check the operation of the interlock and the emergency stop buttons. 4. Check the door interlocks for correct operation. Basic weekly checks and cleaning. The machine must be kept clean of any loose waste material to ensure continued safe and efficient operations. Please clean out any material that has accumulated behind and on top of the platen. The machine should always be kept in a clean and tidy condition, and this duty should be included in the maintenance routine on a weekly and monthly basis, depending on the frequency of machine usage. Do not attempt to perform any servicing of the machine, except for the basic daily and weekly checks. Highlander will organise an annual service of the machine, which will include all items which must be serviced to ensure the safe and efficient continued use of the baler. When performing any maintenance or cleaning duties, you must ensure that the machine is isolated, and ideally also padlocked off to make sure that the machine cannot be started inadvertently when operators are cleaning or maintaining potentially dangerous areas or moving parts of the baler. Cleaning operations. For the machine to give you long service and to work to its maximum efficiency, it's recommended to clean out any material that has accumulated behind and on top of the platen on a minimum weekly basis. Before commencing any cleaning at the top of the platen, again, make sure the platen is in its lowest position. Turn off the power and lock off the isolator with a padlock or equivalent. With the loading gate at its uppermost position, open the bale door to access the top of the platen. Remove any material from the top of the platen and in particular in between the back of the machine and rear of the platen. Also remove any material from the back of the slots on the back of the machine. Remove any material from the wire grooves in the machine floor. And finally, remove any material around the bale retaining teeth located on the bale door and the back of the baler. Checking the hydraulic oil level and checking for oil leaks. The oil level indicator is at the rear of the machine, attached to the power pack and can easily be seen. The oil level must be approximately full on the indicator when the platen is in its uppermost position. If the oil level is less than 3/4 full, the machine will need some more oil adding. Adding hydraulic oil to the machine. Highlander will monitor and replenish the oil in the baling machine at each annual service. However, if you see that more oil has to be added to the machine in between services, please contact Highlander immediately. Checking for oil leaks. Before commencing any of the following checks for oil leakages, make sure the platen is in its lowest position. Turn off the power and lock the isolator with a padlock or other equivalent system. You will need a working platform or suitable ladders for working at heights. Important: do not use your hands or any other part of your body to feel for leaks. Hydraulic cylinder. With the loading gate at its uppermost position, open the bale door. Inspect the hydraulic cylinder rod for scores and any hydraulic oil running down the piston rod. Check for any oil leaks around the cylinder rod end cap seal. Check for leaks around the hose connections at the top of the cylinder. Hydraulic hoses. Examine the hoses for any porous surfaces. Check for any damage, kinks, cuts, cracks, chafes or singes or embrittlements to the hose surfaces. Check for leaks around the hose connectors. Hydraulic control block. Check for any moistness or any leaks around the pressure valves and control valve. Here is some important technical data for operators of the baler. The platen force of the baler is 35 tons, and the drive power of the main pump is 5.5 kilowatts. The pressure of the baler's hydraulics is 139 bar, or 2000 psi. The hydraulic oil tank volume is 75 litres. Electrical information. The baler requires a 415-volt supply at 50 Hz. It has a 5.5 kilowatt motor running at current of 16 amps. Noise emissions. The noise test code used is as described in Annex A of EN 16486-2014. Noise emission values of the baler. The sound power level without material is 76 decibels, and with material it is 79 decibels, which is below the HSE action level for sound and noise emissions.